Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Focus on Liberia, live on FOL TV and primetime 105.5 in Monrovia. My name is Dennis Jai, and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. In tonight's edition of Focus on Liberia, we're going to be looking at how we can move the country forward through education, mainly our K through 12 education. How do we do something for Liberia using education? That's the topic. And I have with joining me for this very, very important topic is our anchor at Prime FM, Mr. Prince Moba. Prince, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you, Dennis, for joining me here in Liberia. It's great to be on the platform tonight. So let me say thanks for joining me, and it's good we are together again once more tonight.
Also joining me is a math teacher in Minnesota and also FOL education analyst, Mr. Cisse Goya. Mr. Goya, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
I appreciate it. It's always an honor to be on.
And I got these people together because we are honored to have the Deputy Minister of Education. That's the Deputy Minister for Instruction at the Ministry of Education, Honorable Alexander N. Duopu. Honorable Duopu, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And we are glad to have you. We want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. This is Focus on Liberia. And again, we are live on Prime FM 105.5 in Monrovia. Prince, take it away from me as you inform our listeners there in Monrovia what to expect. Our topic today is how we're going to be moving education forward. We're going to be talking to Honorable Duopu on the function, what he does at the Ministry of Education. We're going to be discussing a whole lot of issues as to the challenges, the successes, the access to, and all the 9 years, all because we want to see how we can move the country forward and how we all can partner and do something for our country. Prince, take it away from me.
Thank you, Dennis. It's great to be here tonight, like I said, from the beginning. So tonight's edition of the program, we're going to have with us Liberia's Deputy Minister for Instruction, Minister Alexander Duopu. Of course, you're going to be talking on a wide range of issues. I mean, from how the Liberia's educational system can move forward, specifically looking at instructional area, preparing of curriculum. As you may be aware, also the government of Liberia just reintroduced the civic into the school system. So many other things are going to be discussed tonight. So we hope that Liberians, especially those who are school administrators, parents, even students, will be glued to the radio so that we can bring sense to this discourse. It all has to do with the growth and development of Liberia. Like I always say when I'm on this radio, education is a pillar of developing and growing nation, and Liberia is not an exception to that. So that is the talking point for tonight, and we're going to have time to ask you for your comments via the phone lines. On FOL page, you can also go there and leave a comment, and those comments will be read. So thanks so much, Dennis, for joining me once more.
Thank you. By way of introduction, Honorable Alexander N. Duopu is the Deputy Minister for Instruction. He's also a teacher. He served as the Vice Standard Bearer for the All Liberian Party, ALP, in 2017. When the election went to second round, he pledged his support to the Coalition for Democratic Change. He lectured at the Cottonton Graduate School, the University of Liberia, and the United Methodist University before assuming the role of Deputy Minister. He worked in other capacity as Officer in Charge for Financial Intelligence Unit, that's FIU, Portfolio Manager, National Social Security and Welfare Corporation of Liberia. His last job was with the PNC Financial, that's in Claremont, Delaware, here in the US. Mr. Duopu holds a MBA in Finance and Master's in Accounting from Strayer University and a BBA in Accounting Economics minor from the University of Liberia. Of course, he's married. He served as the chief government nominee for Liberia at WIEC, where he served as the chairman of council from 2020 to 2021. Once again, Honorable Duopu, we are happy to have you. this is your first time on Focus on Liberia. So we want to offer you a bottle of water to say thank you and feel at home.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. All right. Let me start by saying, for the sake of those who don't know what you do, just tell us briefly when they say Deputy Minister of Instruction, what is that? What exactly do you do?
First of all, I want to appreciate the president for preferring me to this position, this delicate position that I hold. There are many Liberians that are qualified, and he deemed it in his own reason to have me serve in this capacity. So I'm grateful. I just want to express that. And also, I want to appreciate my minister. We have a minister that heads the ministry, uh, Professor Dr. D. Ansu Soni, who has kept the team together from the inception to now, uh, with the gains that we've made through his supervision and guidance, and we continue to make these gains. And also to the team at the Ministry of Education. I do, whether you are deputy minister, my colleague, or assistant minister, or director, or supervisor, I want to say I do appreciate the level of cooperation and coordination that we have. We continue to have at the Ministry of Education. For my portfolio at the Ministry of Education, I'm the deputy minister for instruction. I have supervision role, the development and supervision of all instructional programs, at all levels at the Ministry in education in this country. And I also ensure that the standards that are set by the Ministry of Education, they are adhered to the school systems and our partners. Just to summarize it.
Good. So when you say instruction, what are other departments in the ministry and how do you work with them?
The structure of the Ministry of Education, we have the minister who's the head, and we do have three deputy ministers that support the minister. We have the Department of Administration, headed by one of the deputy ministers, my colleague, Latin Datan. We have under his supervision, he has two assistant ministers, because administration is in charge of personnel, procurement, finances. He has the assistant minister for fiscal affairs, and also for general services, two ministers under his supervision. Then we also have the deputy minister for planning and research and development, Alton Kessely, one of my colleagues, and he has one assistant minister who's assistant minister for research, planning, and development also. But I think in this country, I'm the only deputy minister that has 5 assistant ministers under my watch. Yes, because at the ministry, the Department of Planning and Administration, they support the Department of Instruction, because instruction is the implementing arm of the ministry. If the Department of Instruction does not work, the ministry will move. You see, so I have five assistant ministers for basic and secondary. We have early childhood education, teacher education. I have the TVET, student personnel services. So then the other 3 programs beside my assistant ministers, I have the county education officers that represent us in the counties that under my watch. And these county education officers supervise the district education officers, and also the district education officer supervise the principals, the principal down to the teachers. All of them are under my supervision. Then we also have the Teacher Training Institute, ZRTTI, Azosa, Webo, Teacher Training Institute, and Kakata, KRTTI. All of them are under instruction. They are under the supervision of the Deputy Minister for Instruction. So the TVET, we've developed a 3-track programs. We know our students, not all of them have interest in the sciences. Some have interest in the sciences, liberal arts, and others don't have interest in both, or they have interest in technical vocational education. So we created that. We created that part of the learning process, which I will talk about later on. So that's my full, responsibility. So the country is directly, when it comes to the system, is directly in the hands of instruction that I head.
Thank you. Mr. Cisse, the minister lay out.
Yeah, he has a lot. So thank you. There's a lot on your shoulders. My own comrade, fellow teacher, I applaud you for taking up that. But I have a question. What are some of your successes? Just tell us some of the things that's going really well since you took over. We know from the past government to you, there's been a transition. So what are some of those places that you want to highlight for people who otherwise don't follow the ministry to know what are those great things that you've managed to achieve?
Okay, thank you. We've had a lot of gains. We had a lot of gains. Uh, when we got in, we secured the first time we secured through GPE, $47 million. Okay, but there are a lot of programs that we have that we can boast of. We just few weeks ago, the vice president was at the Ministry of Education. We just launched our policy and standards. Okay, we've developed them to regulate the sector. We talk about inclusive education policy. Before, it was difficult for a blind or deaf person to go and enter in a regular school with the regular kids. Okay, those who have impediments. But now we have the policy, and now we can have inclusion. Okay, so special inclusive education policy we've done. A girls education policy. We talk about girls enrolling, being retained, and completing, because we realize that most of our girls, when they from first grade or from K to sixth grade, they drop. The high rate of female dropout. So we've put into place, how we will. I will elaborate. I will talk about those successes. Then we talk about our teachers' code of conduct. Okay, we've just done that. The girls' education strategy, the accelerated education policy. We have overage kids in Liberia now. We are trying to reach our kids at age, and we are gradually getting there so they can be at age. But right now, we have kids that are overage. Some of the kids, 10 years old, still in first grade, for example. So we've done that policy. The national student handbook we've done. The female guardian counseling. We've introduced, female guardian counselors, especially for our female. Their concentration, even though they will also help the boys, but their concentration is for the female. We've hired 200 of them for mentorship and also for career guardians. Okay, because most of our kids, because in this country, kids just jump up. You can school, you can do the exam, or you don't have the strength in the sciences. You score 0, 50 in chemistry and biology, and you want to go to medical school. Those are things that we are trying to put together. So those are the policies we've done. The national teacher standard policy, the national teacher professional policy. Now we are doing the policy for okay, I didn't talk about the Center of Excellence. Center of Excellence curriculum, they are directly under my watch also. So we are talking about teacher professional development, where we have licensure, we have accreditation. You see, as the lawyers themselves in this country, they have license that guide them, so teachers, we are trying to professionalize this thing. We know we have people some of our colleagues who went to science college and have the strong content knowledge. But if you want to define a teacher is one who went to a teacher training institute or teacher college and have that certification because of the pedagogical aspect of teaching. Okay, so but we still have to work with the ones we have, because you went to school, you have strong or background in physics. We won't say because you didn't go to, you don't earn the certificate, so you cannot, because of the shortage of teachers in our country. So those are some of the things. Early childhood education, because I said we have the implementing armies instruction. Early childhood education, we decide to help aid our teachers, because early childhood ECE is very delicate, abstract. Many of our teachers that have gone to the teacher training institution, they got the C certificate, but it was not in specifically in early childhood education. Yes, they have the C certificate. It doesn't mean you can teach ECE, early childhood. You don't have that background. So we worked with some of our partners here and ensured that we took them. They've done that training in that specific area. Now, Tubman University is offering a degree in early childhood education, which is good, and we are working with them. Few universities are doing that. But in the classroom, we've introduced what we call the talking pen to aid our teachers to teach our kids, okay, at that level. Because that pen is it has pre-recorded lesson. It has pre-recorded songs and other ECE teaching materials. For instance, if you have that pen, the teacher has that pen, that when the teacher take that pen and put on the letter A, it will tell the child A, then the child will repeat A. The talking pen that which we are introducing. Early childhood education also, we are, because of the lack of space, we are procuring to construct 18 new ECE schools at some of these underserved communities. Okay, 18 of them, 18 early childhood schools. All right, because many schools start from first grade, going forward. But the early childhood, is delicate. It's the foundation. It's the foundation for our kids. And we have already, as I said, we've developed a curriculum for early childhood education. And also we have this program, the transforming the education system for teachers and students, or the test program. This program, because we know that early childhood and primary education are very, very vital to the learning of our kids. If they don't have that foundation, they grow up knowing nothing. So we are working through the universities, 8 universities. These universities are working with us in this program so that there are two years of this program. Those who want to attain to AA degree and those who want to attain to BSc degree. All right. So if you have a C certificate, you want to upgrade your standards, okay, your qualification, you get in the program, you enroll in the program, and be trained by these universities. We just revise the curriculum for that purpose. Okay. Those who want to, if you have an AA degree, you want to attain to a BSc degree, you enter that program so that we can build the foundation, of learning in our country. Because this is our primary, because if our kids from ECE to 6th grade, they are not strong at numeracy and literacy, is very, then it becomes so bad. Because if our kids cannot read, they'll be agitated in classroom, they'll be the one to disturb in classroom, they'll be the one to have lack of interest. Okay, so that's one of the things we can boast of at the early childhood level, the ECE level. Then we'll come to basic and secondary. Basic and secondary, also because of the COVID, this is a new normal. It's just come, and it's good that in the developed world they have this distant learning now. So we are creating this continuous learning platform. We want our kids, whether they are in school or not, whether there's Ebola, what is COVID, what is situation that unfolds that we can't meet in person, they must have that continuous learning. So we've programmed it through radio. We are constructing it now at the ministry. They'll be learning through radio and television. All right, so they can be home, and because those materials will be recorded, and they'll have special specialized teachers, okay, who will be doing these lessons, and these lessons will be, I mean, all over the country. We are securing this, what's the frequency and what have you. So those are some of the things we're doing. We also, through the Egyptian government, we have this virtual laboratory, because we know that most schools, even public schools and government schools, especially in the sciences, uh, laboratory is a problem. So we are working with we call it the proxy lab. The proxy lab. This laboratory will help our kids. All right, it's a virtual laboratory, and also we are securing the provision of 200 digital libraries and laboratories also. We call this the smart bags. The smart bags. Right now it's being used in Sano. There's a group that brought that smart bags, and it is helping our students in Sano. All right, it's a library, it's a laboratory. So but we are providing it for all the public schools. Okay, it's because of the difficulty of availability learning materials. So we introducing the smart bags, 200 of them. There's like computer, 27 computer in it with a Wi-Fi connectivity. So you can be in Sano County, okay, and even use it offline. So we are procuring it right now, so that next semester we'll start supplying it to our public schools. We say public schools for now, okay, public schools for now. Then, as I said, we talk about girls enrollment, retention, and completion. We want to, the government of Liberia, it is the heart desire of the president that our females enter school, stay there, and graduate from school. So we decided to recruit 3,000 females, but we'll do it gradually. We have already recruited the first 1,000. Okay, so it's 3,000 female. As soon as you graduate or you pass from ninth grade to 10th grade, from 10th grade, government will shoulder that sponsorship for those girls, so that we can encourage our girls to complete their school. And also in that process, they will be, I can say, compensated first semester, second semester. And we also secure a cell phone so that we can monitor their affairs. Okay, we provide a cell phone for them. So then I talked about the guardian counseling, right?
Yes.
The guardian counselors, we've just recruited and employed 200 female guardian counselors. We're intentional to hire females, all right, because we are dealing with girls here. I don't say when they are in the schools, they'll be deployed in these public schools, but it doesn't mean that they will not work with boys, but their focus is on the girls. I know you asked me for that qualification, because in this country, not many people have such a, a degree,
So, Mr. Minister.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Minister. One, I appreciate it. You've given us a lot.
I just want to.
That we need to.
I just want to give you and we can.
I appreciate that. So let me ask you a follow-up question. First thing, I must say thank you for first of all, the biggest thing that's near and dear to my heart is the equity that you guys are introducing now, which is equity of gender equity and ability equity. So you're talking about our girls being in school, staying in school, and graduating, and you're also looking at people who have disability, for lack of better word, like our family members who are blind or deaf and hard of hearing, and giving them equal access to quality education. I must applaud you for that. That is a human right issue, and I want to say thank you for that. Now, having said that, you listed a whole lot of things, and I want to find out, of all those things, which ones are currently deployed. So, for example, teachers' code of conduct and the teachers' licensing and accreditation. Are those already being enforced? If yes, how is the licensing process? What is the process? And if not, what is the time frame you're looking at for those to be deployed fully?
Yeah, for the teacher code of conduct has been, the licensure, the licensing and accreditation. as I just said, we are working on the policy right now. All right, it is in place, but right now the centers, there are 3 levels of centers. But it's only the curriculum, the center for curriculum, is in force. But for the licensing, because it takes time, we are doing a lot of studies. There are people who been in the profession long time and are older. We are looking at the grandfather theory, where I will give them some provision, a leverage, you know, and those who are new entrants in the profession, how do we deal with them? Those are the ones who are going to do the refresher, the test, and get the license. So those are things that we are studying and we are working on. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And then the other piece is you know, this is a catch-22, right? You want teachers to be certified, and I applaud that because I'm a certified teacher myself. But you also are dealing with shortages, which we are dealing with shortages all over the world. Right now in America, we have a huge teacher shortage. I can't even get substitute teachers to come and sub for me when I have a problem at home. So we want to make sure that people understand that this is a universal problem. So, but I want to find out from you, what is the genius? Because I want to learn, maybe I can bring something to my own classroom. How are you guys dealing with this situation of wanting to make sure that you have teachers that are certified, but also ensuring that you are filling the gap because you need teachers? So, for example, somebody who has a physics degree, that you're not just sticking them and throwing them in the classroom without the pedagogy, because you spoke about that. Teaching is not just about knowing the math and the science; it's about knowing the pedagogy. So, how are you balancing that? What is the balancing act looks like?
So we are not on, as I said, we are not undoing them because these are professional people. The only thing they don't have is the pedagogy. So we are going to ensure that they go to our teacher training. Because they will be, like, for instance, when school closed, we have like 2 months where we can take them, send them to one of the TTRs and ensure that they go through the kind of refresher training because they already have the academics. All right. So it's just the management of it, the pedagogical part of the training. So I think, you have a BSc already or you have a master's. So, I mean, so the process of learning and understanding how to manage the classroom and everything that surrounds teaching. I'm sure, as they do the refresher training, you go in, like in service, for some time, you come back and you go in until you can meet up with the required, or requirements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And then, very quick before I let Dennis come in, because I know I apologize about that, but this is something that's really I like this. One other question that I have for you, Mr. Minister, is the licensing process and the licensing. Are you going to have a database, or you going to have a warehouse where teacher licenses are kept? And if yes, because I already see you nodding yes. Are there going to be ways, or are there going to be, because I know you have a teacher's code of conduct? What are you going to do to ensure that predatory teachers, or teachers who are, or people who don't belong in the classroom, don't just jump from school to school? But that if, for example, somebody got removed from the classroom in Monrovia at demonstration, right, for an example, that they don't go to my hometown in Lofa County and go there and become a teacher. That there is a way for the folks in Lofa County to be able to access their database and try to ensure that this person should no longer be in the classroom. Is there a process being put in place for that?
Yeah, there's a process. You see, like for instance, I'll give you an example, like the WAS exam that our kids take in the 12th grade to go to college. Many times, some of the teachers, they think they are doing well for our kids. Uh, they will take, some of them, they have what they call flexibility fees. For the kids, they tell the kids flexibility fees, collect money, and hoping that they can manipulate the system and give the kids maybe questionnaires or answers or what have you. And these are people that, so long we see that collusion, you know, we make sure that these people are named and shamed. They are placed in the newspaper, and their names are announced on the radio. We are. This is why we make sure that this licensing because you are in the States, if your license is suspended, you know you can't get on a wheel to drive, you know. So that's what it is. You know, our teachers need to be professionalized. They need to know that teaching is just not a fallback position. It's a profession. You know, that's what they need to know. You see, so this why we have to put this measure in place so that they can be governed by this, you know, this licensure. So that's the idea.
So let me get it clear. So if a teacher, has lost his license in Monrovia, how do you ensure that he doesn't go to Sisigoya town in Lofa, or go to Kanyeke or go somewhere in Swakoko to be teaching? How you do that?
You see, like before you see when we got there, don't get me wrong, our predecessors did well. You know, they did what they could do because they were in the seat where we sit now. And tomorrow we will leave and others will come in our seat. Okay. I mean, when we got there, there were teachers who just desert their post, their assigned area, and said, I mean, teachers need to qualify themselves. Don't get me wrong, they need to qualify themselves. But it has to be, it has to be a system. We didn't meet a system. Anybody will just jump up. Oh, I'm going back to LU to do my master's. I'm going here to do my BSc because I got C certificate. Without the knowledge of even the head office, the HR, they couldn't track it. So now then when GAC goes to do an audit and GAC doesn't see you, what happened? You are classified as ghost. This is how this whole ghost thing came about. Because someone would just say I'm going for in-service. Probably the district education officer may give you an excuse. All right. But it's the office that's regulating the HR. Is he aware? So now we have put into place this transfer measure, this in-service measure, where the principal or the teacher will apply through the principal to the district education officer, from the district education officer to the recommendation to the CEO. CEO look at it, what it is, for approval. Then the CEO would make the recommendation, send it to my office, and my office will make the recommendation to administration, to the head of administration. Because if we don't do that, then when there is head count or some audit, we don't see you, they hold your pay or they take you off payroll. So those are things that we put in place. So if we know we have this database that we are creating for our teachers, our 15,000 plus teachers, all right, and ensuring that these teachers are we know where they are. If I say John Brown, I know John Brown is in probably Plebo, Maryland County, and in that particular school. And if John Brown go against the ethics, we know John Brown. If John Brown will be in the database, John Brown will not go to even a private school in this country. All right. So we are working. You see, now we have, as we said, partnership. We are working with our stakeholders. The education, the system. We have the Cali school system, the Meredith school system, all the school systems. All right, because we have government. You see, these systems, the private schools are supporting the government effort because government only have 44%. Okay, the other percentage goes to the private sector because this type of school, the public school, the private school, the faith-based school, the community school. So those are the types of schools. All right, but government has only 44% of the system. So it means that the rest of the system is right in the hands of the private schools. All right. So we continue to work closely with our private school systems. All right, the faith-based school, the community school, and what have you. Because you know that we regulating, but we are in partnership. Because if they are not supporting our effort, we don't have the capacity. All right, government doesn't have the capacity. Our kids, a lot of people we born every day, kids going to school every day, and the private schools, helping us. So this is why we continue to partner with them. And every decision we make at that ministry, the secretariats are part of those decisions. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. And talking about your predecessors, we have, I don't know whether it's still there, this is a bridge school system, the bridge program. Has it been replaced? Is it still going on? If it's replaced, what was the transition like?
Which school system?
Bridge, the bridge.
Oh, the partnership program.
Yeah, the partnership with Bridge.
Well, it's just people just talk about bridge, but it's a pool. It's a pool. The Liberia Education Advancement Program. That program consists of different partners. Bridge is there, youth movement is there, Rising Academy is there, other partners are there. Okay, and we, as I said, we encourage public-private partnership. All right, government cannot do alone. Okay, so these people are there to help buttress the effort of the government. Those, we give them schools to run, but those schools are our schools. The teachers are our teachers. All right, there are some of these partnerships that some of the teachers are volunteers. To be frank with you, they are volunteers, and they compensate them. They compensate those teachers. So we work in close proximity. All right. The only thing is, before the program, when we got in, there are a lot of things that the program wasn't doing, but now we've held them to their feet, and they are doing it. Minor renovation is our schools. We need to renovate. You can't be in a house, one zinc there leaking, then you say you only there only for teaching, learning outcome. No, the physical environment is very important. Yes, I grew up in Newtown, but my mom, not that Peter will not teach, but she sees similes, nice physical structure, fence. You think, where will she take me? Whether Simiri has the best teacher or not, she'll say, yeah, that place. So we continue to stress also, yes, we're talking about good learning outcome. Yes, we talk about excellence, but the physical environment of our schools, they play a major part also. So that's why now Bridge is doing the kind of work now that they need to do. And we have close supervision on them.
Okay. So that pool, I think that's the. Oh, go ahead. I know you still.
One of the things I want to stress, I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
August 24th, will be appreciating our teachers in this country, first of its kind. We'll be recognizing our teachers. But it's unfortunate that the teachers of this country continue to be like the way we used to think. We need to change the way we used to think. We have placed, all the advertisement, all the ads, all the encouragement for our teachers to apply so that we can recognize the teacher. We're supposed to be offering 32 different awards. The national principal award, the teachers award, which is the presidential award, and the minister of education award. We should be giving 32 awards. And the presidential awards, the person who's going to win that award, the number one award, the number one teacher in this country award, will have a house and a $1 million Liberian dollar. Up to present, our teachers are not applying. I don't know why, but I just want to, sound this so they can know that this is for their recognition. And it's first of its kind. I know it has not happened before, but give it a chance. The counties will take the best out of those counties, and they'll have like 100,000 Liberian dollars each. The one that will come from the county. Then all those counties will have one winner. In education, we have 16 counties. 16 counties because Montserrat is very big, so we divided Montserrat into into two. So it's what we have: Montserrat 1, Montserrat 2. So we have 16 counties, and those awards need to be given to our teachers. So I admonish and encourage our teachers. I want them to apply. I want them to be part of this pool. Somebody you can win. You can come as number one in this country. They'll recognize you. So I just want to, I just don't want this to get off my head. I just want to encourage my teacher, and you can also pass that on, to our fellow colleagues.
Okay, so before I go to Prince in Monrovia, I just want to see you listed, some good things about what the ministry is doing. So if we look at the major challenge or the major problem in Liberia, is it access? Is it quality? Or people can afford to go to school? What really is the issue?
Well, people must, every individual in this country must have the ability and the opportunity to go to school. That's one of the priority of the government. Whether you are black or white or short or you are disabled, you need to have the opportunity afforded you to go to school. So for access, I mean, we have public schools here, and the public schools, they are not paying, you only registering. All right, you the elementary first to sixth grade register with 1,000 liberty, which is less than there's the $5 US, I think $5. 7 to 9, 2,000. 10
So
to
cost
12,
cost is not
2,000.
an issue.
Cost is not an issue.
So
All
what's the
right,
major issue?
and look, we've seen is why we continue to encourage, we continue to bring out new programs for our kids. We have this accelerated learning program, this where we have kids with overage kids. If you we have programs for overage kids. Even if you are 27 years old, you in third grade, there's a program that we have, all right, that can absorb you, and you can spend those hours that you need to spend, and gradually you can be promoted. You see, it's called the ALP program. It's for overage kids, because our right now, to tell you the truth, we are gradually coming at age. We have a success story. I just last year, a little girl, 14 years old, just graduated from high school. This year, a little girl, 12 years old, she's in 12th grade, about to graduate from high school. So our kids are coming at age. We see our kids 16 years old graduating, 17 graduating from high school right now. Yes, we know we have a lot of overage kids, but we still have programs to absorb them in the system, to make sure that they can read and write. Literacy is very, very important, because this is one of the things that get our kids to just push away learning. Because if our kids cannot read in the classroom, those who will bring a lot of problem in the classroom, the teacher is there, is because of reading. Because you can't read, you cannot do mathematics. So then you cannot read or understand, you can't do mathematics. You can't do physics, you can't do chemistry. You have to know how to read and write and understand. So those are some of the basic things that we continue to work on. But gradually it will come in place. Gradually.
Thank you. Cece, I know you want to cut me, or you love this thing.
I know you have another question, but you talk about quality. You've seen we have been having a steady progress when it comes to our kids taking the WAS exams. When we got there, 2018, our kids, they so poorly. But what happened? Now our kids, they are the kids that never used to pass with credits in this country, because we are, I can say, competing with our sisters country, Ghana, Nigeria, Gambia, Sierra Leone, doing the WAS test exams. Our kids are doing well. They are passing, not only passing, but passing with credits. So we must recognize our kids. Every year we have a steady progress every year. So that's we feel proud, the kind of outcome that we have, when our kids go for the WAS exams.
So I'm here beaming with smiles, Mr. Minister, for the good news, especially of a 12-year-old in the 12th grade. Those are gifted and talented kids, and I applaud the system for allowing that child to reach her potential. So I have a question for you, and I want us to think about the equity of quality, right? There is quality. We've talked about quality, but I'm thinking about is there quality equal across the subdivisions? So the quality we see in Monrovia, is that the same quality we see in Bapolu? Is that the same quality we see in River G? Would that be the same quality, the same access to quality? Because I applauded you for the access, the equity piece with girls graduating and our family members who have disabilities. So when you talk, for example, about the talking pen, I think is what you call it.
Yeah.
Is that talking pen accessible to students in Johnsonville, right close to Monrovia, or to students in Zozo district, or to students all the way out there in Bapolu or somewhere else? So I talk to us about what does it look like? What does equity and quality looks like in all of these things that you're talking about?
Well, I just made a statement concerning underserved community. Underserved community, underprivileged community. Uh, because when we talk about we are the government end, this is why we try at all costs to ensure that the public schools are attractive. Okay, because we have the private schools, and the private schools, yes, they're going by the curriculum, but they have other, they what we're trying to do is that our teachers, the government pays more than the private schools. But we found out that there are government school teachers who go to these private schools and moonlight. And when they go to these private schools, they commit themselves to the private schools. But what happened to the government school? They still have the concept that this is a government thing. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why we are trying to balance this, because I believe we have one curriculum. And I believe the teachers, when they are doing their lesson planning, they go by the curriculum. And I believe the supervision of our teachers, the teachers directly come from either the VPR or the principals. But what happens if our principal is not supervising, is not going in the classroom? I, as a deputy minister for instruction, when I visit the schools, I go directly in the classroom to see how the teachers manage the students. And I even ask questions. For instance, if I went to a school and the kid says I'm in first grade, and I just a little test. Okay, spell me first. And that kid sits there, and most of the time, I don't know whether you attended school in Liberia, but the first they'll put a 1 and the ST, right? First, instead of first, 1, second, 2, ND, all those, and the kids will look at that and they will think that how to spell first. Unlike other schools, you go there, you test the kid will spell first. Even if they are not going to second grade, they will spell second, third, so the system is of such that we are trying to make sure that our kids, especially the teachers themselves, because if our kids believe in our teachers, if you as a mathematician, if you went home and met your kid doing math, and the way in which the teacher taught that kid, if you because you're an expert, you want to show that kid the simplest way, that kid will cry and say, my teacher didn't tell me this. My teacher didn't show me it like this, because the students believe in the teacher. Our kids believe in the teachers. This is why we continue to stress that our teachers continue to exhibit the kind of ethics that they need to exhibit. Teachers need to be prepared to go to classroom. Private schools, they are on top of their games. But some of our public schools principals, yes, you may have BSc, your teacher may have BSc, but you are privileged to be principals. You people are not, I would say you people are not colleagues, because you're the principal. And the way in which you engage your teachers, it either intimidates you or it makes you to feel at least at that superior level.
So, Mr. Minister, why is it that way? Why is it that they take it seriously in the private school and then government school is free for all? Why is that?
I wouldn't want to say like free for all,
No,
but
I'm
people
just saying,
take
like you
their,
just said.
yeah. You know that one of the things that happened is good that because of I was going to talk about the construction that we are carrying on in these schools, in our schools, and most of our principals, I employ them, the public school principals, because the project money that we are giving them, we gave them $50,000 to renovate all the public 156 public schools in this country. They are being given $50,000. $50,000 to do renovation. But what they are doing now is building fence. Because the private school, when our teachers go to the private school has fence, they will lock that place. That teacher will not leave from there until his or her time is out. But if you don't have a fence, the teacher look around, nobody sees him or her, they are gone. So I mean, we tried, we can't sit at the echelon, at the head office, and solve the problem. The problem, we need to work together. This is why we continue to calm down. Oh my God, my generator! I want to make sure my kids put the generator. The generator is just give me 1 minute.
All right. Good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia live on Prime FM 105.5, and we are having a discussion with the Deputy Minister for Instruction at the Ministry of Education, Mr. Alexander N. Duopu. And with me is my colleague, Mr. Cisse Goya. He's FOL Education Analyst. He is also a math teacher right here in the United States. And our man, Prince Momba, is at control at Prime FM. Prince, while we wait for the minister for you to ask your question, but give your general view, and then you can come up with your question when the minister comes back. Okay, he's here. Yeah,
okay. All right, they are putting film on generator.
Right.
Okay, we can go ahead.
Prince.
Yes, thanks, Janex. Let me say thanks to Minister Duopu again once more for joining us tonight. It's great. I mean, it sounds good for Liberia and for Liberian school system where it comes from the government. Minister, I just hope that some of the things you said will be done, especially when it comes to the training of teachers and also the recruitment of counselors and the priority of female students in our school system. But I have few questions. Let's ask a question which is very important. I think we actually get the answer properly. What is lagging? Is it the teachers? Is it quality or the infrastructure? Because you are just giving an example of Simiri. I think Simiri in Douala, right? So yeah. the quality of the school on which the children learn also adds value to the education. So I let them know that part. Then the second one is this prioritizing female education, where you are targeted it, I think 3,000
girls.
Yeah. So I want to know whether it's a program on the educational system that will sustain after maybe your turn at the Ministry of Education or this government turn, or it just something to be done on this regime. And then you also talk about
let's keep it short. So the minister.
Let
me answer first.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
You have another chance.
We hope in the future. You see, the education. The president, from his own heart, he told us that education is dear to his heart in this country, and it is his hope that our kids, have the foundation, and so that we can prepare them for the future. Because when we phase out, they are going to be the ones to take our place, and we want to ensure that they can make the right decisions when we are not there anymore to make the decision. All right. One of the things that we've not done at the ministry, and it is my hope that we will do before our tenure expires from the ministry, or we will do as long as we have the opportunity, and we are preferred by the president to stay where we are. We should be doing what we call school grading. We'll talk about quality. We're supposed to grade our school from A to F. There are a lot, the criteria, the conditions leading to A, B, C, D, and F. And we are not closing school down because of infrastructure. But right now, we decide to work with school. We give you a timeline, okay, a year or a year or two, so that you can improve. And after which, if you cannot improve, then we have no alternative but to close you down. All right. So when we talk about quality, yes, we have schools that have great teachers, but then there will be prejudice when it comes to the infrastructure, the physical environment of that school. All right. Or the school may have good structure, good learning environment, but does not have the kind of supervision. All right. So this is why we at our level, we also depend on our district education officers that should be doing the direct supervision in the field, because they are in the field. The county education officers that are in the field. All right. The principal, that is the chief administrator of that school. All right. So when we ask for, because we have SMT meeting with the CEO, the county education officer every quarter, and they bring in report. And when they bring in the report, we validate the report, but then we send the report back to planning, because it's planning that does the data. And planning would go back and do some due diligence to see to see the outcome of this report. All right. So when we talk about quality, it depends in a way. I just want to, because we have not started grading our schools. We actually have not started grading our school, and I wish, because of this accreditation of schools, now since we are doing the policy, hopefully maybe next year we'll start on grading our schools. Okay. So I don't want to directly define that quality. What was the second question again,
Prince?
I was asking whether the parental of female is a sustained program.
Yeah,
that
program will be sustained because the government has put a lot of money in it. All right, the government has put a lot of money in it. As I said, we have recruited the first 1,000, okay, for this academic year. The next academic year, we'll add on another 1,000, it'll be 2,000. The following academic year, because you are in 10th grade, you get in the program, 11th grade, then we have new entrance for 10th grade. When you reach to this 12th grade, then we'll have new entrance for 10th grade, then we'll have those who are in 10th grade go to 11th grade. That's how we're doing it, and we hope that even if we are not there, that those who will succeed us will be able to sustain the program, because the government has already put in money for that program, to make sure that program works.
So how does it go? It goes across the country, or how do you do this?
The entire country. The recruitment is cut across. It's in the entire country. The recruitment, entire country. And it's as I said, from 10th grade to 12th grade. So if our girls, so long they reach that 9th grade and they pass to 10th grade, we enroll them in that program, that sponsorship program by the government.
All right, Dennis. So let me ask one more. Then I give it back to you. Just one more. So, Honorable Minister, the reason I was asking about what is lacking, because I too have toured some of our facilities around here, and I know how it looks like. In some of the counties, of course, students are still learning on very deplorable situation, where some schools do not even have, benches. But notwithstanding, I much appreciate the Ministry of Education for some of the things they do and some of the things that you said. So one good thing you also say is this National Teachers Appreciation Program that will be on August 24. which is very good. But I'm also concerned of the cost. It's going to cost intensive. You will be giving people a lot of money. Then 100,000, you said. I mean, I said,
$1 million Liberian in the house.
I have for the president, right?
Yeah, the presidential award.
Yeah, then you have a award in the counties as well.
So you see, so let me ask you, the teacher and the student, who comes first? Can I ask you guys? You ask me a question. Who comes first, the teacher and the student?
The students.
The student come first?
Yes.
So what are other colleagues say?
Well, yeah, schools are about students. I mean, teachers are just in it, but without students, you can't have teachers. You can't have an education system.
So without the teacher, can you have people learning, students learning?
Well, anyway, maybe
okay, I just want to tease you. I just want to tease you a bit. But I didn't want to tease you. To tell you the truth, look, our teachers are going through sacrifices. Teachers are people who make other people, and teachers make lawyers, teachers make doctors, entrepreneurs, teachers make teachers. And they have you ever seen a teacher rich? In my lifetime, I've not seen a rich teacher.
Yeah.
And this is the opportunity, because some of our teachers,
right?
Our teachers in the villages or somewhere else, and their children see them since the kids were born, seeing my dad teacher or my mom teacher. They are just the same. Their life cannot change. And we want our teachers, somebody's life needs to be changed so that people can value this profession. We're talking about, there's not the kind of sacrifices teachers make, the kind of sacrifices they make. What is $1 million Liberian to that? What is 100,000 or 75,000? These are people who out of passion, they don't care whether. Some of them don't even have it to send their kids to school, to pay their kids' school fees. But yet and still they are going to educate someone's child to make them better, to build their capacity for our country. So I don't want us to dwell on that. I want us to just want us to look at the sacrifices these people are making. When we got to the ministry, there are a lot of scholarship, professional development that come through the ministry that others. But it will just be at the head office. People want to take opportunities. You know what I did? I decided to go to Sando, to Nimba, to where those teachers being in those places that are not recognized, and give them the opportunity to travel to Ghana or Morocco, so that people, their family can know that it is not in vain, that they can be recognized, they can be identified, that people share their passion. So this is part of it. This is part of it.
Minister.
Let's recognize our teachers.
Yeah, that's a good thing, because when I was teaching, all I heard was the reward of the teacher is in heaven. So, but we should have reward here too. So I agree. Let's talk about the curriculum. I assume we have a unified curriculum. Do we have one curriculum for both public and private schools, or not?
Look, we are the sole regulator of education in this country. And we have the Center for Curriculum. All right. And a private school, or let's say we have some schools that are international schools in this country. All right.
What does that mean?
International school now, we have private, let's say we had like the American will have their own schools, but their curriculum has to be embedded in our system. It should be aligned with our curriculum, because you see, when you're doing WASS tests, the syllabuses come directly out of it. All right. So the curriculum is one curriculum. Yes, people may have other activities in their schools, but it doesn't negate the fact that the curriculum, they need to align whatsoever they are doing with the curriculum that we have. So we have one curriculum for the system.
And how do you ensure that it is followed throughout the school, whether you are all the way in Duopu, my hometown, or you are international school in ELWA, or you are a public school in Glay, Nimba County.
You see, so that's why I said education is everybody's business.
Yeah.
We cannot be at the head office. The problem, Ministry of Education. You go ministerial complex. You see that building. You see other people. But we delegate responsibilities. All right. This is why, as I said, we have that chain. The district education officer, the one that carry out the supervision, the monitoring aspect. All right. And we hold them accountable because they should be able to supervise the schools. They should be able to enter into those schools, all right, and ask the teacher for the lesson plan, all right, and match the lesson plan to the curriculum. They should be able to sit down and find out whether a teacher can manage the classroom well. They should be able to inspect the attendance sheet and know whether this teacher has not been coming, this principal has not been coming. We hold them to their feet. You see, I do supervision, I carry out supervision, I leave my office. I go to private school, I go to public school, I go to faith-based school, I enter the community schools, and I sit in the classroom. And you will not believe that there are teachers who will go teach without lesson plan.
Yeah.
Teachers will go teach without lesson plan. Can you imagine that? And you just want head knowledge. Private schools and public schools. Oh, I forget my lesson plan. How will you forget a lesson plan? How are you going to prepare? You're not even prepared to teach. And between you and myself, I tell them to go home because they are not prepared to teach. And I ask the principal to stay in the classroom. So it's not, you see, when I went to Cambridge, there's a statement that was made, by one of the facilitators. And she said that education is resistant of itself. And I brought that to Liberia. And she was saying that it's like a cycle of failure. Because those who you expect, to help you build the system, those are the same people. As soon as you close this hole, open another hole. So I continue to wonder when I came back to Liberia, I started to see some things, and I realized every time it's in my head, education is resistant of itself. Even those who say they have that academics, those who we esteem, but there are things that they do even at the primary level or the ECU level or the university levels that when you look and you say, wow. Because I expect my district education officer to supervise, to ensure that the principal needs to ensure that the teachers come and they are prepared. Inspect their lesson plans. Some of them, do they do that? So those are things that we continue to work on. We continue to work.
Mr. Minister, I have a follow-up, I think, on Dennis's question about how do you ensure that the curriculum is universally being taught to all kids, because the children don't decide what curriculum, what material they're exposed to. The adults, the teachers and the principals and everybody decide that. So, but I wanted to frame that in a little different way, because you talked about grading schools and you said right now you don't have them. So my question to you is, if we take a sub-regional exam, and that sub-regional exam is based on the curriculum, what are we doing? What are you doing? Or what are you thinking about doing with using the outcome of the WASC exam? That tells you which schools are doing well and which schools are not doing well. And then what effort or what do you put in place for those schools that are not doing well, yet still have students, because students are still going to go there. But what are we doing to ensure that those schools that are not doing well, based on WASC, because we're using WASC as our measure for when students can graduate. What are you doing with that data when it comes out? Because one of the things I see is that the DO or the CEO might not be able to go to every class and see every curriculum.
No.
When you look at a WISE outcome, for example, in math, you look at strengths and say, well, in algebra or in geometry, this school did not do well. So then we need to focus on your geometry lessons and see, what are you doing? What are you following the curriculum? That would be a way to audit. So my question to you is, in the absence of having a system to grade schools that you're thinking about right now, because I know you have a plan, what are you doing currently to ensure that those schools that are continuously not performing on par with their counterparts in WISE? What are we doing to ensure that we build a way to help them out? And then the last part of that is, how do we compare regionally with our neighboring countries when it comes to our output in the regional exams?
Okay. The 2 years ago, Liberia came third place in mathematics. The whole region, Liberia came third place, which brought pride to us. And I will tell you, we know and we can identify, because right now, I don't know why, but we don't have, our kids are not doing well in geography. First, it was the sciences. Before it was the sciences. But I don't know whether we don't have, because we are trying to research and see whether we, through the planning department, whether we don't have the level of qualified geography teacher, or we don't have geography teacher, or our kids are not doing well in geography right now, like regionally. Also, our kids are not doing well in literature. Those two subjects, those are subjects now we are putting more emphasis on because of the data. All right. So we know these things, okay? Geography and literature. Before, when it started, 4 years ago, it was physics, chemistry, physics, chemistry, mathematics. But our kids they are improving when it comes to mathematics. Oh, like last school year, the girls that we say, our Liberian girls, our Liberian females, and further mathematics, they came top in mathematics in this country. So the data, we have the data. All right. But you see, the thing is that the publicity is not, but we have the data and we're working with the school system. That's why we work with WISE, because the way in which WISE is formatted, the WISE has the syllabuses. All right. And we work within that framework. Like, for instance, if you're doing history, it's Liberian history. Nigeria, the context there is not in their test. It's about out of war history and Nigerian history. So if our kids, you talk about Liberian history, and they bring the test, and the amazing thing about it, sometimes why we sometimes want to cry is that the exams, before the exam is drawn, we have subject specialists from all the schools, in Liberia. They take them to Nigeria or Ghana, and they meet their counterparts, and they sit around the table. And when they ask you, this is quadratic equation. Liberia, are you doing quadratic equation? Then Liberian teachers say, yeah, we're doing that one. Are you doing maybe context section? Yes, we're doing that one. Our kids know that one. Then you sit there, they draw the test, they send the test to your country, and you come from there and tell the people that test they're giving, that Liberia, they can't teach that one in Liberia, that Nigeria test, bro. Whereas we send every year before that test is drawn, we send specialists, subject specialists from this country. They go there, they spend months. We pay their plane ticket, we pay their accommodation, their feeding, and they sit there and draw the test, the exams with their counterparts. They come back and they tell the kids to give them flexibility fees. So you see what we're talking about? The government will sponsor you or ensure that you go there and you represent the country, you represent our kids, because you are teaching the kids anyway. You tell the people, yes, we are teaching the kids this. And the people say, okay, this is what Liberia context, this is what we're going to do, yes, for Liberia's sake. Look, gradually we are getting there. Our kids are very smart. The Liberian kids are very smart, but they just need the opportunity. They need the attention. They need the support, and we've seen it. We sit at the ministry. We see it. Our kids are very, very smart. Liberian kids are passing with credits. They're B2, A1. They are getting those grades. Still 6. Those grades are grades that take you anywhere in the region or around the world to go to college. Because in Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Gambia, if you don't pass with credits, you don't enter the university. You have to upgrade your grades, or you go to a technical vocational school. So these are things we're working on. We hope that from now to 2025 will be a cutoff point, because when the grading process, when we are grading these schools, accrediting these schools, we hope that there will not be public sentiments. I just want to tell you one thing that happened. 3 years ago, there was a school in Lokintown. They had a situation. The Reverend, I'll call the school in Bishop Master School in Lokintown, and the Reverend died because his nephew was helping him with the school. So a lot of parents knew the nephew. Then the son came. When the father died, he went to school. So they went through legal battle, and the son took over the school because it's his father's property anyway. So the nephew felt disenchanted. He decided to go and open a school. Kids in 12th grade in this country, 12th grade, about to take the WAS and registered with that school. He took the kids, he went to open a school. So I heard about it. I went there and told him, you can't do this because the kids are already in 12th grade, they are registered under that school. And they need to go to that school to take the exam. And you'll tell, oh, I got qualified teacher here. Oh, I said, no, it's not about you having qualified teachers. It's about the kids. But to my surprise, that building never had any window. That building never had any ceiling. They just put a blackboard there. And I tried to prevail on him to, yes, you want to establish a school, go through the criteria because there are steps involved. You can't just go and take the people kids. But you know what the parents did? The parents in looking down, they went flattening my tire. That the men will know. Our children will stay here. Can you imagine that? So sometimes, when we making some decisions, hard decisions, people need to understand the ministry's standpoint. When we are saying, yes, we are closing this school, we tell school the only way you graduate students, except you get the worst result. In schools, and we've seen it, schools want to defy us and we shut you down. Then all kinds of people will start to come to negotiate or come to prevail. Sometimes it's education for our kids. It's everybody's business.
I agree. Thank you. I like the name flexibility fees. How do you deal? Because I have a couple of family members taking the WAS, and they say, well, when we go there, the first offering we collect is for flexibility. Then the second offering, so
they changed the project now as a project.
Okay. So how does the ministry deal with flexibility fee and other forms of misconduct and bribery? How you really deal with, because from what we are hearing is really bad, especially in the public schools.
This is why we've established the code of conduct, for our teachers. They teach the schools, especially the schools. Most of our private schools that are owned by individuals, proprietors that want to have oversight instead of the administrator, the principal they have there to make decisions. They don't, want to make decision. They don't want them to make decision. They'll come from outside and they usurp, whatever decision that person, wants to make. And we realized that when we work directly with, because WIAC is under our supervision. Yeah, they are the examination body, but they are directly under the Ministry of Education, and I'm the chief government nominee, and we see all those things. We just caught I think about 5 or 10 schools in collation. You know what happened? Their exam results were cancelled. It's not possible for all the kids to have the same answer, to have the same math workings. You know, it's not possible when why see that, because it's not only this country, Liberia. They had the secretariat in Ghana, they monitor and they look at the grading, they look at the test papers, and they compare the test papers. And any malpractice, they just cancel the test. So some of our kids, their tests can just be canceled. Some of them, they ban them from taking the WAS until after 50 years when it happens. All right. Schools that are caught in this, they just suspend their permit. So those are things we're doing. The only thing is that the only people that we announce are the teachers that engage in the arts, the kind of malpractice and collusion and what have you, and we name and shame them. The head of national office, when he's giving the results, he will call their name. This man from this school, this teacher, he engaged in this, So
they punish, right?
Yeah. Many
right.
times, our students, their tests, they just cancel.
You are talking about the teachers. How are the teachers too punished? Or is it
this is why we were, from the inception, we're talking about, this whole licensure and professionalizing this whole thing. Because why, the man may be name and shame, but he may, find his way somewhere else, So, I know it's not everything we're doing right now. It's a process, and we're working on these the kind of things we see. We are working on them.
Thank you. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we're going to read some comments and then take calls as we draw down. No one will come into this time, and Prince is behind me now for the call. So let's take a short break, and we're going to be right back.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
Thank you very much. Welcome back to Focus on Liberia. We are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia, live on Prime FM 105.5. Few questions here, few comments from our viewers here, the Honorable Minister.
Okay.
This one from Jimmy Ismail. He said, does the minister believe that the curriculum is designed to address Liberia's current state?
Well, yes, it is, because right now the curriculum that we've developed is no more content-based. It's not content-based. It is competent-based. All right, the curriculum is competent-based. Gone are those days where teacher go on a blackboard and just demonstrate, be showing himself. But the curriculum is designed in a way that our students themselves, they are the ones, interacting with the teachers. They are the one doing the kind of things the teacher should do. So we have changed that, curriculum design from content-based to competent-based, where it is interactive. So it is designed.
Dwight Duggar-Port say access is a major issue. Liberia still ranks first for lack of school for primary school age children. Monrovia is not Liberia. So we agree access is still an issue in Liberia?
Well, we have as I said, we have the school types. We have the public school, we have the private school, we have the faith-based school, we have the community school. Schools are in the community, governed by the community. Communities that realize that the community does not have school, or the community needs school that will the community, the parents in the community can afford. We when they establish those schools, they call us, we go there and we work with them to make sure that the schools are up to that standard. So community schools are there that give access to the kids. We have the faith-based school.
Thank you.
We have faith-based schools. All right. Religious schools. The Muslims, what have you, they have their schools. Christians, all right. Other religious institutions. That's access. They have the opportunity. Those who believe in that faith have the opportunity as they send their kids to those schools. They have the opportunity. The public, the government has, created. We have schools available. If you cannot afford to go to a private school, come to the government schools. Then we have government schools. Then we have individual schools. There are people who are associated with these individuals. All right. So the school types are there. I mean, it is the opportunities, the ability to give opportunities to our kids, and the opportunities are given. All right. It is our desire now as parents to ensure that that ECE from 3 to 5 years, right? Early childhood, 3 to 5. When you reach the 6th grade, 1st grade. So this is what it is.
Thank you.
Parents, are they prepared and ready to allow their kids from 3 years old to take them to start off, that journey? So as I said, it's us. Okay, it's us.
Thank you. Thank you. This question from Dave Jesse: what are your thoughts about standardizing our English? And I'll give you an example. When we were in Liberia, we used to say, "Oh, I major accounting and manual." Now they say, "I'm reading accounting." People
right?
Are using miles and kilo. Some people spell check QUECHECK, and it's all over the place. So I think that's what Dave is talking about.
But our pattern is Americanized pattern.
Right. So are we?
We can say, we can undo that. From up to present, America's learning process has been part of us. So even if the British man say QUE, if the American man say CHECK, it's a CHECK in most of our textbooks. So I mean,
is the ministry enforcing a standard?
You see the Center for Curriculum and Development that looks at the textbooks. They have the standards. We continue to impose the standards, and also we are contemplating in the near future, not now, all right, to have a single language, Liberian language, like what we have TWI in Ghana. That's what we are working on. We are working on it. Whether it's spelled, we want to propose, recommend, or Dan or Man or
can I propose?
Things that we are working on. Don't be prejudiced now.
No, I want to recommend Basa.
Okay.
Yeah, Basa. Okay,
So
but let me read one more comment, and then we take 2 calls from here, and then go to Prince to take other calls. Hamilton Zilli say, Honorable Minister, can the ministry expand LTTP? I don't know what that is. He said comprehensive or proficient reading program up to grade 12, thereby making reading as a subject.
Well, LTTP, that whole program is for 1st and 2nd grade to ensure that our kids, 1st grade and 2nd grade, can read fluently. Right now, at the ministry, we have already given a benchmark for that level. The number of words per minute. We've given that benchmark. So LTTP is a good thing because, I mean, the program is of such that I think it can help, because I know some kids may be in 8th grade or 9th grade and can, I mean, to be frank with you, may not be able to read fluently as as we want them to read fluently. So I mean, that's a good recommendation or a good request, and we'll take that into consideration. But the LTTP program is for first and second graders.
Thank you. And we are here to help. Basically, that's why. Let me take 2 calls, and Prince, please go ahead and announce the call numbers, and then I'll take 2 calls from here, and then you can take 2 more calls.
Thank you so much. So let me say thanks to our listening audience who've been following the show. This is Prime FM, and the program is Focus on Liberia, in partnership with Prime, the crew from the US. Today we have us, Liberia's Deputy Minister for Instruction, Minister Alexander N. Duopu. The numbers to call on the show tonight is 0770 1051, 0770 1051. Better still, you can call 0777 05 33 36, 0777 05 33 36 as an alternative line to be on the show tonight.
Thank you. Let's take Jimmy Eastburn from the capital. Jimmy?
Hey, good show again, as usual, Mr. Ja, and your panel, I think, doing a good job. Mr. Minister, thank you for coming on the platform. We do appreciate it, and we know that you guys are doing what you can to address it, but if we don't grab the bull by the horn, we're going to be doing nothing. And what I mean by this, first of all, you cited some good things that Liberian students are doing, but you didn't tell me, you didn't say what your source was. Who were they competing in? You said they came third. Third from in what? Third from the WAC exam. Third in what? We don't know what your sources are. But according to the African Union, we do see a large rise in the primary enrollment, but we're still lacking teaching quality as compared to other places in all these places. A newly released report from the UN says that our vocational and informal education is severely underdeveloped. It's only 4 out of every 100 children in Africa is expected to ever enter a college or graduate school. All right? And in fact, only 30 to 50% of school-age children are even attending school. How are we looking at addressing some of these issues? Again, one thing we noticed, this is where I asked about, is the educational system designed to really address our problems? Because what we are finding out, that most of the institutions that are turning out graduates cannot find jobs, because the education systems are traditionally focused on preparing students for white-collar jobs, not agricultural or artisanry. This is why I asked the question, are we really examining our school system to address our common problems now? Can we say, if a person graduates from elementary school, can I child, if he never gets a chance to go to school again, can I child get a profession, or like sewing, like carpentry, like something? Or are we just going to be teaching geography and literature, and they can't do nothing with it in the rest of their lives? That's my question to you.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you. Your first concern, I had said 3 years ago, Liberia came first in mathematics in the WAS exam. All right, and the exam, we are taking it along with Ghana, Nigeria, Gambia, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. One of Liberia, the students from our country came third place in mathematics. All right, and from the inception, I said that we at the ministry creating the 3-track program: the Liberal Arts, the Sciences, and the Technical Vocational Training Education, the TVET, okay, Technical Vocational Educational Training, because we realized that our kids, every one of our kids have interest in the sciences or have interest being a politician or accountant. But some of our kids, not that they're not smart, they are smart kids. They have smart kids students that have interest in the technical vocational education. And our case can be good carpenters, good masons, and that leads to employment, that leads to building the economy. And I made that clear. And because of that, we've introduced the TVET program. We are rehabilitating and putting equipment. You go to Tottenham Hard and send somebody to Tottenham Hard. Tottenham Hard is being rehabilitated, and equipments are being placed in Tottenham Hard to bring Tottenham Hard back to its status. All right, or we'll have mechanics, electricians, plumbers for plumbing, carpenters, and what have you. That when these people even graduate from high school, 3 years of this technical vocational education, you no more an apprentice because you've done it for 3 years. You can find a work, you can create a job for yourself. BWR, there's new equipments. The 7 multilaterals. All right. We've sent 76 TVET teachers abroad because we realized after the war, our instructors that were at maybe MVDC or these institutions that we had that had the technical vocational education, we can't find them. And the ones that we find, they don't have the theoretical knowledge. You cannot go in the classroom and only teach practical. So we send these people abroad so they can have the theoretical knowledge. So when they come back, we can deploy them in the multilaterals, Studman High, and BWI.
Thank you.
Have those people. So that program is part of the system right now, the 3-track program. We value the technical vocational education for this country. We believe that's the driving force to the economy. That's how we're going to build this economy. All right. At the level of the West African Senior Secondary Certificate exam, you know why Nigeria, Ghana, they do pass? Because they not only concentrating on the 9 courses that we do here, the 9 subjects. They do tie-dyeing, they do sewing, they do masonry, bookkeeping, they do all those things and they go and do the test. They don't go do physics. Those who don't want to do physics, they don't go do. But English and math, they are the core subjects. Besides English and math, the other courses that they take exams in, those are the courses sewing and what have you. So this is why we are introducing this. BWR 2 years from now, BWR will be doing the exams in their trades. That's what we're working on now, for BWR to do the WAS exams in their trade, in the areas of concentration. So I just want to let him know. Probably, I know we need to let our citizens know what we are doing. So we highly value the TVET aspect of learning. We do value it.
Thank you. Let me take the last call here, and then Prince will come in. But before that, there's a comment here too, also for you, Naomi Duopu. Say, I'm watching, sweetheart. Bravo. So not all the people want to ask you a question.
Yeah, my darling.
All right, let me get this caller. Call your name and where you calling from.
Good evening, Focus on Africa family. This is Duopu calling from Cyprus, Texas.
Mr. Paul.
Thank you for bringing the Education Full Center, and I also see my good friend Zizi on there. Thank you, Mr. Minister, for taking the time. My only question, currently, I run the Port Liberia Child Initiative here in the States and also in Liberia. We constructed a school and it was dedicated last year, and we've been in this conversation with the ministry to get into consultation on literate sign of MOU. So you guys could send teachers to this. We were able to build so far 6 classroom school in the village in Bentana. And like I said, I'm in consultation with one of your district educational officers. As a matter of fact, we met with him on yesterday. One quick thing I want to say, I applaud you guys for at least coming out to, visit the school and see that it was structurally fit for the kids, which of course is in the rural part of Liberia. But yes, one of the points that he stressed, I know the other points we have to correct it before the school opens to that village in September. One of the things that struck me is that he complained that very many teachers to go to that part of Liberia to teach. So his suggestion was that we put that aspect of providing teachers for 1 full year before the government can come in to fully take over that school to run it on a young curriculum. Now, mind you, this school wasn't built by a huge nonprofit. It was built by my family, my wife, daughter, and I, and with friends from Facebook that helped build this school. Our own money. We don't have Coca-Cola or Chevron sponsoring us. It's friends on Facebook with $100. Even ZC is one of our contributors. So we did all of this work in trying to provide a school in a village that no school are being built. Kids have to walk 5 to 10 miles to the nearest school. Do you think this really fits the appetite of other people who want to follow my footsteps to build schools in areas that, from what I know, I think the last school that was built by the government of Liberia was probably in 1980, public school. And if we are over here, see the need and try to fill in those voids, and then we have to step up and provide volunteer teachers. We don't have the curriculum to train these teachers. So I just want you to address that so other people that want to follow in our footsteps and say, okay, well, we'll just build a structure, turn it over to the government, and the government can take it from there with the curriculum aspect and providing teachers.
Yeah.
I just need you to address that because this is where one of the hiccups are for us to open in September. Granted, there are other issues that we have to fix structurally in the environment. That's fine. We're willing to do that. But this idea of teachers, it hit me hard because we want you to go back there and teach these kids.
Right.
And as we put it, it's going to be a public school given to the government of Liberia.
Yeah.
Built by my family and friends in the diaspora. So how are we supposed to fit into that void of providing teachers? I will hang up and listen to you. Thank you again for all the effort you're making for our children.
Thank you, Mr. Port. And yeah, that's very important because I face the similar issue in my town where we try to pay the teachers until we just ran out. And 5 of those teachers left, signed or went to Monrovia to continue their education. In fact, one of them, my cousin, passed away. And the classroom was left, void. Nobody replaced them. And they continue to collect their check in Monrovia. So, but let's respond to Mr. Port's concern first. We can put mine on the back burner.
Well, I want to commend him and I appreciate the thoughts. Well, when someone gets up in the morning and think about you and say, "Oh man, I just thought on you," you should. I mean, you are valuable, and for them to have the kind of thought they have, to contribute to where they come from, the community, or the section they come from. I mean, it's laudable. But you see, education, as I said, is everybody's business, and there are criteria, leading to establishing school, and also because when you have that desire, you need to come to the ministry and sit with the ministry, because you want to know whether you have the capacity, you have the capacity. Right now, the government has just approved $1 million, giving us $1 million to augment salary of those who probably they had C certificate and now they went to school and got a BSc, to tap up their pay. And some of those who have been volunteering for maybe 5 years now, 2 years now, 3 years now, to put them on payroll. And these people are already being assigned, or they have responsibility also. So we are in that process. So when you build a school as an individual, as a family, if the school is not turned over to the government, it is your responsibility, because it's your dream. It's you going to contribute. If you, like I talked about the types of schools, school types, and community can, or individual can decide to build a school. To build a school, for instance, I'll give an example of Peace Island. There's a community school there that was built, and the school has been turned over to the government. And because the school was dilapidated, we took the responsibility to renovate the school and then for our kids to go to that school, because the community knew they never had the capacity to make sure that they can pay. Don't get me wrong, they have others, other communities that decide to take that responsibility. But one of the things that happen in the communities, all right, anytime individual or community build a school and they turn it over to the government, and they realize that when the government takes over the school, and as time goes by, and they see a lot of the influx of students, they see a lot of students, you're seeing people will come by and say, this school belong to us. We, look, Liberia is just sometimes, the kind of things we go through. Oh, the school here belong to us. Now, in fact, I'm a part property here, and who he tell us say you're giving government the property because you see the influx of students. You see a lot of students attending that school, and you think you can collect money. At the end of the day, we are government, and you can't fight government because we are in the interest of the children, and we want to ensure that we provide the opportunity for our children, put in teachers. But I think since you talk about the community, I will, try to talk to the CEO, to talk to the DO, and to see how we can work it out, to find a teacher, for that school. We can work it out together, and he can also take my number, and we can talk about it and see how we can help, because it's about a Liberian child anyway, and
Thank you. If you give me that number, I'll give it to him. Prince, do we have any caller on the line?
No, not yet. We don't have a caller.
Yes.
There are callers, but we didn't because what else to discuss.
My number is 0880.
We'll do that later, and then we'll take it as we kind of winding down now. But let me remind you, tomorrow we have Tough Talking Thursday, and we'll be looking at the mantra that both will eat. What does it mean? We're going to be examining that right here on Focus on Liberia with our regular panelists on Tough Talking Thursday. This Saturday, the Liberia Diaspora Virtual Summit is scheduled. We're going to have, right now registration is ongoing. I'm going to be one of those moderators, also with Professor Welma Mashanini Red. On Tuesday, the song we sang at the beginning of the show, Yize Aponzuo, the artist will be here. Minister Janje Kabli Komini will be right here. That's Tuesday, May 17, right here on Focus on Liberia. Then next Saturday, we're going to have Gospel Minister Abena Johnson. She's going to also be here for an interview. You don't want to miss all that. Prince, any caller from your end?
No caller yet. Let me just announce the number. 1-770-1051 is line 1. Line 2 is 0777-053336. 0777-053336.
Thank you. Mr. Goya, any final question before we wrap up? Prince, it's almost time. So if you have any question for the minister, and then we can wrap up.
Yes.
I was trying to unmute myself. Yeah, sorry about that. I think though there are a lot of progress that's been made. Listen to the minister. I've been amazed. By the way, this is one of the best shows I have moderated along with you, Dennis. I might just say that because it's always exciting to talk to public servants, especially those people who are teachers. I'm biased towards that. And I see that there are a lot of things you've achieved. But I just want to ask you a question, Mr. Minister. As a practicing teacher, I have, if you ask me, what do I need, man? I will write notebooks full of things that I need. Right. So I'm asking you, we always come to you and hold you accountable for things you aren't doing. What are those things? Where are places that you think you have the most need, that you need partnership from your citizens in Liberia and in the diaspora? And let me make it a little bit personal. If you were talking to somebody like me who is a practicing teacher in the United States, and I get a lot of these students come from Liberia, and they come from these international schools, and they come to me and they can't read at grade level, can't do math at grade level. What are some of those partnerships you think that will help? Because they keep saying education is a community thing. Education, it takes a village to educate a child. Where are some places that government see as places where we can partner, void of politics, void of tribal affiliation, void of sectional affiliation?
Well, we have to take politics out of education, because it's building the capacity of, is building the capacity of human being, developing human being, making them, preparing them for the future, the future of the nation. I like to take politics, out of education, or education out of politics anyway. Uh, we have this national service program. Some of you, like for instance, you can, avail yourself. Come to Liberia maybe a semester, and just volunteer in one of our high schools, and encourage, to encourage our kids. And also, you in the States, uh, help us with some of these student exchange program, to expose our kids, to other environments. Those are some of the things that we need. We Yes, we do have, we are, some textbooks. You know, like for instance, you work with the school system and see what the kind of textbooks they need. Up to, real time textbooks that, can be provided. So those are some of the things that, we need. Other programs, like for instance, we have debate programs, student other activities that attract our kids to the school. Because before we had this, in Liberia, I know those in Liberia, they heard about Super Friday, where our kids every Friday say no go school on Friday, they'll go on the beach and do a lot of things. But then we started working with some young people, youth movements, like the debate team and
Alex Divine.
Alex Divine. Yeah, we work directly with Alex Divine, bringing the kids, developing them, having debates, I mean, our kids, as I said, our kids are so smart, they just need the support and the opportunity. So those are the kind of opportunities that we need. We as Liberians, whether you are here or in the diaspora, we have that responsibilities, to create the opportunity for the young people in our country here. As
Mr. Minister, you got one volunteer already who is also work with us here at Focus on Liberia. She's both an
Okay.
engineer, MBA, and a teacher. She's asking, what is the process to become a volunteer teacher in Liberia? Daniel Knuckles.
Okay, that's yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say, just before you ended, you answered that because I was leaning to that, and I appreciate Daniel for coming on. So I have volunteered, and I'm going to take your number on the side, but I have volunteered. I currently am writing the math standard for the state of Minnesota. I have volunteered to come to Liberia to help rewrite the curriculum for Liberia. I had a teacher licensing program in my district. I also volunteered to come and help there. But folks didn't take me up on that offer. I didn't know you by then. So now that I know you, I get a number from Dennis Jai. We can talk behind the scene. But in addition to what my sister is asking about, how do we come to volunteer? I like the debate program. But here's another thing. We keep talking about STEM. In my classroom right now, I teach trigonometry. This is a drone. I'm teaching drones to my kids in trigonometry class. They fly these drones. They collect data. They process data. I'm more than willing to come to Liberia and offer some time and see how we can write a curriculum that is not just going to be based in Monrovia, for how kids can get attracted to science through flying drones and collecting data. But please answer that question. How can other people that sit here, that have the ability, that have the time, that want to come back to Liberia and help?
Okay. I'm still at the ministry. As I said, I'm grateful the president still have me there. And when you are ready to come to Liberia, you give me a call. And we have the bureau we call Student Personnel Services, which of course is part of we have the National Service Program in there, where Liberians can, especially those those who we've given scholarship to go abroad, like Morocco, India, China, when they come back, it's through that bureau that we placed them in various areas for 2 years. That's what they sign up for. So when you come, we will process you according to your own area of specialty. It's mathematics. So we work with the CEO office, my office. Then we take you to, we ask you. I know you maybe you now want to go to Zozo, but we'll
No,
first time
actually, he wants to. That's why he
you
wants
want
to.
to go to Zozo. You see that?
He loves
Then we can take you to to Zozo and to high school there, you know, and you volunteer maybe the whole semester, you know.
right.
Then
Minister, Mr. Minister,
yes.
you have more volunteers here. Jimmy, who called earlier, wants to volunteer too in the vocational area. So
Yeah,
this is a
the
whole. We
the
really
TVET
want to
area
help.
is open now. It's open that the multilaterals are there. I think you need to come, especially for that drone, education stuff, come to the multilateral or BWI, right in Kakata. I mean, we need to, all of us need to expose our kids.
Right.
So
Here's another thing, because and we're going to have more and more people coming forward. So we can, if you want us to talk that offline, a way that we can actually has more and more people ways to volunteer that they can just get plugged in. Because if we do like one-on-one basis, maybe let's have a standardized process through which we can do that.
Because it will serve as a motivation to our teachers who are here.
Yeah.
You will serve as a motivation.
We have a lot of people like that, Mr. Minister.
Yeah. So we need them. We need you guys. So we need a listing. Then we start to prepare for you guys, and don't forget it now. Don't forget that
we have all these people always volunteering. Another idea that was pitched before, we used to have Peace Corps coming to Liberia. Now we have Liberians, especially the children and our nieces and nephews we have in this country. Some are as young as 25-year-old. They have master's degree in teaching. It wouldn't even require them much to come there and volunteer. So we really need that process so that people can. I can tell you, just through Focus on Liberia alone, you can get up to 50 in 1 week.
That would be good.
So let's get that thing straightened up, and we'll have people, because we want to help. Definitely, you have people here that want to help.
My man, you got to lead a team.
All right, my man.
Definitely, and Mr. Minister, I would be more than willing to come. I do teacher training here. I'm 12 years math department chair here, so I'm more than willing to come. I'm in Liberia almost every year except for the COVID. So we will talk. We will talk behind.
No problem.
Thank you, and that's the goal of the program today, to see how we can help. My dream job is to be the superintendent of Sino County and use that same time to teach to Sino High School. So that's my dream job.
That would be
good. Thank you.
Prince, my mom is from Sano. You know that my mom is from Sano.
So. Right. So I want to we definitely we want to help whatever we can do. The stuff in Liberia. People are organizing school. People are now taking school as a business, and it shouldn't be like that way. Especially for some of us who were born behind, go back, cross 4 creeks to get to school, and we know how far we've come. We want to give back. We try on our own as a community here, try to help your little junior high school in your village, and it is being so difficult. So we need help too, so that we can help our schools. We shouldn't allow just the big companies to have duty free. If I want to send books to my hometown, you help me too, so the books can get there. But
so long you put it in the Ministry of Education name, we can help to clear it from the place.
All right, so good. And we want the process because we have more people that want to do that. Yeah, it took us like 3 years to get the books from Monrovia to get them to Sino. So. And Daniel Knuckles is saying, amen, the superintendent, the teacher job is here. Daniel, this is my dream job. Don't play with it. Prince, let's conclude with the minister. Let me see your last word, and then we go to the minister.
Yes, so let me say thanks a lot to Minister Duopu. He's with us tonight. I mean, I would just ask question on and on and on, but he cannot answer everything tonight. As he knows, I'm always doing an exclusive with him. So if you, I mean, I will have to do the rest with him in Liberia. So, Honorable Minister, maybe the day I'm visiting you, I'll just let for you to answer me these two questions. All that you said, one will be wondering, this stigma that have been on the Liberian education system, that it is a mess. One will be wondering, where are we? Are we still in the best situation, or where are we? What can be the best solution going? That you might not answer tonight. The next one I will also let them know from you is the government of Liberia has reintroduced the civics into our curriculum. Why is it important? So those are the two things I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to
Yeah, civics. We want to, we want to pay tribute to Dr. Sawyer. It has been his dream, to make sure that this civic book, for first grade 1 and 6, is put in the school system. He sacrificed that. We launched it. He wished to have come. Unfortunately, God has it all. He didn't come back to Liberia, but we still launched it, and we invited his wife, who is here with us. Everybody, we talk about good citizenship when it comes to civic education. A lot of people know their rights, but they don't know their responsibilities. Yeah. Because rights come with responsibilities. So, and also in that civic book, they talk about the resources. People talk about, what civic, but if you don't know your resources, how do you manage those resources? That sort of try to expose our young people. So we deem it highly, and we want to pay tribute to him. And also Charles Stepp, or Liberians, in Maryland, or Keba. She wrote the civic book for 7th grade to 12th grade. All right, 7th, 12th grade. She really did well. We want to thank her. We want to appreciate her. Liberians to have a thought about our country, and say we need to make sure that we reintroduce civic education, because since 1980, since the degree 88A, civics was civics had not been in the school system, but now we are reintroducing civics education, which will help our young people, so that they can know their responsibilities in this country. So yeah.
Thank you.
We'll have more to say about that.
And we'll definitely have you back. I wrote this civic book in 2017. I went to Monrovia 2017 and took it there. Even to the school system, I worked until I got tired. So what I was going to do, it has the Constitution. So by next month, I will.
You should have come to the education ministry, man.
No, you were not there. That was 2017.
Oh,
so
okay.
What I was planning to do was to sue the government of Liberia, take the government to court, because they are not teaching the curriculum. So I got all my lawyers said, but because of the show tonight, I'm not doing it again. I will send a listing of these books to you. Okay. Look at them and see where you find them fit.
Okay, no problem.
All right. And here's a question for you. William Domba, Minister Duopu, are you the late Moses Duopu's son?
I'm his first son.
Right. Mr. Goya, let's conclude. I know you want to go to Lofa to teach. But teacher training, because it's going to cut down the number of people we send away to do basic things. We can, and I'm in technology too. We can even do online. Cisse can set up things here.
Yeah, distant learning and what have you.
Yeah. So Mr. Cisse.
Yeah. So I'm going to end with some recommendations, and I'm going to piggyback off what Dennis just said. When the pandemic was heated up here in America, we were all distanced. That's one of the things we were trying to work with the Liberian authorities on, was how could we set up an online system where qualified, licensed Liberian teachers could teach and just broadcast in Liberia. We have all these talk shows on Facebook. Everybody got a talk show, but nobody was willing to do that, and there was not that link in Liberia. So we're hoping, Mr. Minister, as you think about, all of the things you talk about with the learning by TV and the learning on radio, I will hope that you consider, since that is going to be electronic, that you will consider having other experts outside of Liberia to help our brothers and sisters and our mothers and fathers teaching, to give them access to better pedagogy, to refresh their pedagogy on how to teach in the 21st century, because we know a lot of people still teaching like, how we were taught back in the day. You stand in line and they whip your hands if you can't see the timetable right. So that would be one of my suggestions. Another suggestion is that in order for you to ensure that you have a lot of people coming back home to volunteer, there is this program we introduced to the Ellen government, and that was when she was one way out, and that is what some countries do. Is, for example, they come to my school and say, we need Cesar Goya for 1 year, but we need him to come and teach in Liberia for 1 year. How much are you paying him in America? And they say, well, Cesar makes $30,000. Well, we'll pay Cesar the $30,000, but please ensure that he maintains his seniority. Cesar goes to Liberia. You don't keep him in Monrovia. You send him to Kawiya Camp. We're in the village. He's there as a teacher leader. He's there training those teachers and teaching at the same time. And he can come back and the American people can benefit, because now I come back, I know how to teach other children who are different from the children I'm used to teaching, and I can train my fellow colleagues. And once you do that, there is a win-win for teachers. There'll be a lot of people willing to come. I know the government doesn't have a lot of money, but it's just something I'm throwing out there for you to understand. But I do want to say I appreciate this interaction today. I am so grateful for coming on and knowing you. My lights are going up like 4 different times because I had to be, in and out. My motion system is going off. Custodian is here trying to clean up my room. I have been here all day, but I have now lost, because I think this was a good thing, Mr. Jai. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, my brother Prince Moraba. Mr. Minister, here is my one last plea to you. Education should be the safest place for our children. Schools should be where the kids go to feel the most safest. Children who come from broken homes, who live in homes where they're not safe because of sexual violence or sexual intimidation or whatever, should see teachers as the #1 protectors, that they should be able to go to us, come to us and tell us what is happening at home that they cannot tell their parents or their guardians. When their trust is broken, when teachers become the predators, it creates a problem. It creates a trauma that is very hard to heal. My one plea to you, I know you can't work the magic, and if you had that magic wand, you would just wave it. But I need you and your colleagues and everybody to do more than what you're doing right now to ensure that our students are protected from sexual violence, from all form of violence that get meted out towards them by people who are in position of trust, especially educators that are supposed to be trusted. That is my one plea to you. As you leave from here, if you don't remember anything, my brother, I hope that whatever you're doing, that you will do more. I know you're doing more, but I want you to please do more, because it tears me inside as an educator when I see educators being accused of rape. Because then who do those children go to when they feel vulnerable? That is my one pattern plea to you, and I know this is something that's on your heart as a parent and as an educator. But I hope you guys can do more.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goya, Prince. We'll go to the minister now for his closing comment. People always say, like people in the diaspora, when you go back, the people don't like you. So I see some comments here. They say, when we go back, let the arms be open. We want to work together and not to take anybody's job. We want to enhance what people are doing. There's enough bad news already. We want to be the good news of helping without being hurt. Your closing comments, sir.
Yeah. First of all, I want to again thank His Excellency Dr. George Manawia for preferring us at the Ministry of Education, and also for his guidance, his thoughts always when it comes to education. His hope is that the system works and our kids get the requisite education that they need to get, through the responsibilities that he has given us. And also Dr. D. Ansusone, who has been steering the ship, making sure he's collaborating and coordinating with all the departments, to ensure that we do the kind of work that the president has dedicated us to. Also, the parents, who, the stakeholders who continue to work with us, the National Teacher Association, National Principal Association, the national PTAs, other secretariats, who are making it possible that our kids learn, have the opportunity to learn. And
The minister is freezing. Let's hope it gets better. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Focus on Liberia Live on Prime FM 105.5. As we wait for the minister, let's get.
Hi, my name is Addie Tyler from Pennsylvania, and you're watching Focus on Liberia.
Honorable Minister, are you there? All right. On that note, we want to say thank you all for watching. It's already after 11 in Monrovia, and Prince is ready to go home. So we want to thank our viewers also for staying here with us on Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberian. As we end, we never leave without playing our song that says we are all Liberians, and we want to help. That's the message. And we say, we are all Liberians. Let's do whatever it takes to make Liberia the glorious land of liberty. Have a good night, and God bless you.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home.